What is a good business? We're increasingly hearing terminology which I've already used today, such as impact-driven, purpose-led, social enterprise, and good business. But what are they? And how do you know if your business is a good business? So I want to focus some time now on exploring what we mean by good business. It's worth noting that there isn't a global definition, and that's a little bit challenging. At the Good Business Club, we've developed a way of describing them, with contribution from the businesses in our community, which I'd like to share with you now. A good business is one that has a purpose beyond just making profit. They're still concerned by financial sustainability, but not at the cost of the planet and people. And we've distinguished 6 areas a business focuses on to positively impact people on the planet. So 3 areas are operational. They could be looking at the people who they're impacting directly, their employees, or the people they serve, clients and contracts, or perhaps a supply chain that sustains the business activity. The other 3 areas are external. The impact could be directly related to the product or service that they offer, or they look at the immediate communities that they're in close proximity to, or the bigger picture and the wider environment that they are impacting our planet. It's also worth noting that there's a common misconception that good businesses are defined by their legal structure or business model, but that's just a misunderstanding. Good businesses range from micro businesses or freelancers to private companies and B Corps, from co-ops and social enterprises to sole traders and independents. I'd now like to go a bit deeper into this with you, showcasing real life examples of practices and approaches of good businesses to give you a more tangible example. And I look to the businesses in my own network as examples who are predominantly based in the UK, but there'll be examples wherever you look in the world. So let's start with employees. So good business approaches look at diversity and inclusivity in the workplace, and that starts by looking at the recruitment process. What have they got in place to ensure the role is open to everyone and that there aren't any barriers to diverse and minority groups in joining your business? The approach might also be focused on flexible and fair working policies, such as committing to the living wage campaign. Or perhaps employee development and training is really important, with resources available to develop a team beyond what's expected of their role. And some businesses have looked to flattened hierarchy or inclusive reward systems, giving employees more control and an impact from the success of the organisation. And for others, creating a considerate working environment that fosters well-being and creativity, for instance, the office space, that could be what's important. And finally, some businesses see the value in transparency with their employees and other stakeholders, and are open to being held accountable from everyone involved in the business, not just the people at the top. So here are some examples I would like to explore with you. Just Helpers are an award-winning cleaning company based in London, and they are passionate about fair and equal opportunities for all. And one way that comes to life is by paying all their staff, at minimum, the London living wage. Rocket Mill are a marketing agency, and 11 years after they started, have become employee-owned. They have a strong value of putting people first, and rather than accepting offers to sell the company that would only have benefited the founders, they decided to sell the company to the employees, who now all benefit from the success of the business. And DNA, they're an award-winning, disabled-led social enterprise which supports students, organisations and social justice projects to create inclusive cultures. And they really practice what they preach. 85% of their team self-identify as disabled or neurodivergent. So they are kind of the go-to specialists, I'd say, if you're interested in becoming a more diverse and inclusive business. Now, if we look at clients and contracts, some businesses make their impact on the world by working with good businesses. So by choosing to work with businesses that are having a greater impact on society and the planet, or their refusal to work with unethical businesses, they are helping the right sorts of businesses to access support and grow their impact. This is something I'm seeing as being a really growing focus for businesses. And it's one in which businesses can contribute to the movement towards good businesses being the norm. So for example, Cobalt Beach. They streamline business processes with automation and technology to improve customer service and reduce costs for businesses. And they choose to work with vegan-owned businesses, something that's aligned with the founders' values. We at the Good Business Club support good businesses to accelerate by creating opportunities to collaborate, learn from, and work with other like-minded business owners and specialists. And PlusX, an innovation hub in London and in Brighton, drives social impact by offering co-working and office space, as well as innovation programs to purpose-led businesses. Now, the last area underneath the operational banner is the supply chain. Whether you're making a product or not, a business's supply chain has a massive impact on people and the planet. From sourcing services from purpose-led businesses or ensuring your supply chain is fair and ethical, businesses can select who to work with and do business with based on the impact those businesses are having. Some businesses are even looking at how they can create a circular supply chain so that they're not taking from the planet. And they may be even using waste or byproducts that would otherwise have gone to landfill. So for example, Hisby is an ethical supermarket transforming the food industry. They are proving that supermarkets can be sustainable without negatively impacting people and the planet. As well as many other good business practices, Hisby choose to source from suppliers who are either local, ethical, or organic. And unlike most supermarkets, they pay their suppliers a fair price. Tony Chocolonis are on a mission to make chocolate 100% slave-free. They do this by raising awareness and following sourcing principles that they've created that supports the local farmers in the long term, and by inspiring others in the industry to act. And finally, Ruby Moon. They're an ethical swim and gym wear social enterprise who reuse recycled fishing nets from the oceans to create long-lasting swim and gym wear for the socially conscious swimmers. And at the moment, they're actually looking at how to recycle those garments so that the whole of their model is circular. Now, let's look at the external impact. So the first area that businesses can focus on is their product and service. Now, if you've come across the term social enterprise, this is the area that the majority of them focus on. So these businesses might be creating products or services specifically for people from disadvantaged or minority backgrounds, the people that normally other businesses aren't serving. Some are also creating training and employment opportunities for these disadvantaged groups, sometimes through the production of the product or service that is then sold into the open market. Some businesses that create products will look to ensure that they're producing ethically or organically, or having a lower negative impact on the environment than, say, other products are. And with sustainability and climate change being an ever-present issue, some businesses are looking at how they can reduce the plastics that they use or reduce the use of non-biodegradable materials. And when it comes to packaging, some businesses are looking at how they can reduce their packaging or shift to an alternative that's more sustainable. So let's look at Second Shot Coffee. They're a specialist coffee social enterprise that trains, employs, and supports people who are affected by homelessness. So when you visit their cafes, you can expect delicious coffee and treats, but you'll also be contributing to the future of the people who are working there. Choc Chick, they make delicious raw chocolate snacks and are committed to sourcing products that are timber-free, free from agrochemicals, and ethically sourced. And finally, Marinatex. They're a startup in the R&D stage, creating an alternative to plastic that's made from fish guts and other seafood waste. It's completely biodegradable and completely organic, so not harmful to people, animals, or the environment. When it comes to local communities, some businesses are working collectively and collaboratively with the communities in their local area. This could be offering time for local projects or perhaps fundraising for them. This could be offering the skills from their team to people in need, or perhaps shifting important issues in their local area. So for example, Search 7 are an award-winning marketing agency who pledge 7% of their annual profits to charities and local projects. So far, they have raised over £50,000 in the last 10 years. And to mark their 10th anniversary this year, they've set themselves an ambitious target of raising £77,000 for charity. Team Dominica was set up to support young people with learning disabilities to find meaningful work. So they support young people in their local communities by offering training and work experience at their cafe, and then work with local businesses in their community to secure apprenticeships for them when they graduate. And finally, the Bevy. It was a pub that was closed down and saved by the community, who now all own the social enterprise. Everything that the Bevy does is in service of the community. So whether that's hosting play dates and activities for parents, or ensuring that the older generation aren't alone on Christmas Day, everything they do is based on the needs of their community. Now last, but by no means least, some companies are looking at the larger impact that they're having on the environment and the planet. Businesses are now able to calculate the carbon footprint that they're having on the planet. And they can lower or offset this through a number of different initiatives, with some working to a net zero by 2030 campaign. Some businesses are looking at how they can reduce or reuse or recycle in a number of different ways, while other businesses are building policies around encouraging no or green travel within the team or through their supply chain. And finally, some businesses are producing green energy or switching to use green energy. So for example, Create.net are a website hosting platform like Squarespace or Wix who take sustainability seriously. They are powered by renewable energy and are working in partnership with Ecology to remove the carbon footprint that they've created over the last 19 years and create a carbon neutral business for the future. Besco are a cooperative leading the transition to clean, affordable, community-owned energy. From their solar for school projects to tackling fuel poverty, they are making green energy accessible for the community. And finally, the Textile Review. They're a social enterprise that's ensuring textile used at events, such as conferences and large festivals, aren't winding up in the landfill. Offering events companies a textile removal service that helps them hit their own sustainability targets, they then store and rent out the saved materials to other companies for smaller events or other usages. So just to bring that to a close, being a good business isn't about ticking all the boxes. It's not about being perfect. The world is changing and we need to change the way business is being done. Being a good business is about the commitment the business takes for the future sustainability of the team, of the business, and of the world. It's an open mindset to innovate and create new ways of doing things. When big decisions need to be made, good businesses will review people and the planet as equal to profit, and this is having a greater impact on the world than we've ever experienced. So that's all well and good, I hear you say, but where do I start? And I hear you, especially when you're starting up a business with limited capacity and resources. What can you realistically be doing to set up a good business? The best approach is to look at what you can be doing right now and start with the thing that's most important to you as an individual. You aren't going to be able to do everything that we've talked about today, and no one is expecting you to. Like I said before, this is a commitment which you can be completely transparent about and start with what you can do right now. Review those 6 areas and focus on what is most important to you, and then you can aspire to the other elements, which you can evolve as the business grows, and tell that story. And if you're looking for more support with creating and accelerating your business, everything you need to do good business is in the Good Business Club.